This is not a war zone. It's not a post-apocalyptic movie set. This is not fiction. This is real. We are in Bangladesh, considered the most polluted country on the planet. The air is thick, suffocating. Breathing for just one day in Dhaka is equivalent to smoking around 50 cigarettes. Simply breathing can reduce life expectancy by up to 7 years, and that's only the beginning. Every single day, more than 350 tons of waste are dumped into the city's rivers without any treatment. And it's not just ordinary trash, it's raw sewage, blood from slaughterhouses, chemicals, and highly toxic industrial waste. It all becomes a poisonous current that cuts through the city like an open wound. Drinking this water would be like swallowing poison. In local butcher shops, meat is left exposed in the open air, covered in flies, with no protection at all. This is Fotos Entre Mundos, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this, and support our work by leaving a like. It truly helps the channel grow. We are in Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, the most densely populated city in the world. In some areas, there are more than 150,000 people per square kilometer, thousands crammed into an incredibly small space. The country ranks among the worst in air pollution, water contamination, noise pollution, and even food safety. The smell is strong, almost unbearable. It feels like the end of the world, but life goes on. Children play near contaminated water. Workers cross makeshift bridges over dark canals. Street vendors display their goods beside piles of garbage. While the world talks about sustainability and advanced technology, here thousands struggle simply to breathe, to drink minimally safe water, and to survive one more day in one of the most extreme realities on Earth. It's insane. Part of it comes from a lack of choice, but also from a lack of care. And the scariest part is that what we see, all this accumulated trash, isn't the most dangerous thing. The greatest risk lies in what we can't see. Airborne particles loaded with heavy metals and chemicals contaminating the water. This here is a river. Look at the riverbank. The government even tried to clean it up, but there's no clean water left. No life. People used to fish and drink from here. Today, all that remains is garbage and silence. The air pollution index in Dhaka is among the highest on the planet, about 15 times above the level recommended by the World Health Organization. And today isn't even one of the worst days. Because it rained, the situation has eased slightly. That haze in the distance looks like fog, but it's concentrated pollution. Particles containing arsenic, copper, and lead enter through the nose, reach the lungs, and move into the bloodstream. The result is a rise in cancer, heart disease, respiratory illnesses, and neurological damage. In Dhaka, breathing isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. The air shortens life expectancy and turns something basic into a constant risk. One of the main causes is the fragile sewage system. Drainage is severely inadequate. When it rains, the city shuts down.
Oh God, not again.
Streets flood,
The engine is dead.
vehicles get stranded,
Watch out.
accidents happen,
Help me, it's falling.
and the most
Careful
disturbing
there, grab
part,
the side.
this has become normal. Children play near contaminated water. Families breathe toxic air every single day. This isn't just an environmental issue. It's a public health crisis affecting generations. The cost is paid slowly, invisibly, but in ways that are deeply destructive. It is an absolutely staggering lack of infrastructure. Between 80% and 90% of waste is discharged directly into the river without any treatment. These dark, heavy waters are not confined to one area. They spread across virtually the entire city. Feces, urine, hospital waste, and countless contaminants circulate throughout the urban landscape. More than 20 million people dump their waste every single day without an efficient treatment system in place. But the most frightening part is that this wasn't even the worst of it. In the 1970s, devastating cholera outbreaks struck Bangladesh because people were consuming water from contaminated rivers. To save lives, the government drilled millions of wells to extract groundwater, which was believed to be clean and safe. However, no one thoroughly investigated its composition. The water concealed a silent danger: arsenic, a naturally occurring poison present in the soil. It wasn't until the 1990s that the tragedy came to light. For years, millions of people had been drinking contaminated water. The result was catastrophic: skin, liver, and lung cancers, along with countless silent deaths. It is estimated that between 50 and 80 million people were exposed to extremely dangerous levels of arsenic, considered the largest mass poisoning in history. What once seemed like an emergency solution turned into a global disaster. And the cruelest part, even today, some communities continue to rely on these wells because they have no alternative. Most alarming of all, this tragedy did not happen overnight. It was slow, invisible. Arsenic has no smell, no taste, and does not change the color of the water. For years, families believed they were safe, unaware that they were accumulating poison in their own bodies. The impact was physical, social, and economic, leaving entire generations marked by a decision that, at the time, seemed like the best possible solution. To give you an idea of how serious the situation is, even the residents themselves don't drink tap water here. Unlike in places like India, where many people end up adapting to contaminated water, here not even the locals are willing to take that risk. Only those who truly have no alternative, usually the poorest, end up consuming it. The government tries to ease the problem with filtration stations spread across the city. The water goes through a purification process that removes heavy metals like arsenic and lead, and then it's sold to the public for a symbolic price, about 1 cent per liter. They even make it clear that boiling isn't necessary because the issue isn't just bacteria, but heavy metals, which boiling simply doesn't remove. Even though it's cheap, there are still people who can't afford it. These individuals continue drinking contaminated water from the river or straight from the tap. The system works with on-site refilling and payment through a specific card. It's an initiative that can save lives, but it still doesn't reach everyone. This also creates a dilemma for us. We don't use these stations. Instead, we choose bottled mineral water, which means generating even more plastic waste in a city already struggling with extreme pollution. Now we're in the most upscale area of Dhaka, where the wealthiest people in Bangladesh live. In theory, this should be the most organized and clean part of the city. In the end, the water issue lays bare the inequality. While some can afford treated or bottled water, others rely on whatever is available, even if it puts their health at risk. The problem isn't just environmental, it's social. The infrastructure exists, but access is still not universal. And when we're talking about something essential for survival, that makes it even more alarming. You can clearly see the amount of trash around here. Everything is covered in filth. Many couples come to admire the river, but the truth is that it's completely polluted. People arrive, buy food and drinks, and simply throw everything away along the banks. What's even more striking is that this park is located in what's considered an elite area, near the embassies, places that should be more organized and better preserved, and the trash is practically everywhere. Right here, for example, industrial sewage is being discharged directly into the lake. Factories from the city release toxic waste without proper treatment. These bubbles in the water are the result of chemical reactions from those materials. But it's not just the industry. People use this small boat to cross the river, exactly at a point where large amounts of garbage accumulate. It's completely polluted. Over there, you can even see a waste picker collecting plastic from the river. At least someone is trying to clean it up. The problem isn't only the government's responsibility, although it certainly bears a large part of it. The population also contributes by throwing trash anywhere. This has gradually become cultural, and changing that mindset is a huge challenge. What's most concerning is that this scene repeats itself every single day as if it were normal. People stroll around, take pictures, enjoy the space, but ignore the impact of their own behavior. The trash piles up, the river suffers, and a place that could be beautiful turns into a symbol of neglect. This isn't just about appearances. It's an environmental and public health issue. Without collective awareness and a change in attitude, the river will continue to be treated like an open-air dumping ground. These men here are the workers responsible for collecting the city's garbage. They gather waste from different locations, bring it to this station in the middle of the city, and sort and treat whatever can still be processed. The government does try to clean the rivers and organize waste collection, but the problem is much bigger. The habit of throwing trash on the streets and even directly into the river is still deeply rooted. These workers alone simply can't handle it all. Here, there is manual sorting. Plastic, metal, and other materials are separated by hand. But the facility is small and limited compared to the overwhelming amount of waste produced by millions of people every single day. There are barely any trash bins spread throughout the city, unlike places such as Brazil and Portugal, where waste management systems are far more structured and organized. In the park's lake, for example, sewage is discharged without proper treatment. And this happens in the Embassy District, considered one of the cleanest areas of the city. That small shack over there operates as a basic treatment station. Even with all this effort, it's clear that the problem is larger than the available infrastructure. Without environmental education, strict enforcement, and heavy investment, cleaning becomes just a temporary fix for a problem that keeps growing. All the garbage ends up flowing straight into the city's lake, with no barrier at all. It's a park where people pay for admission to enter, yet back here, the smell of smoke is overwhelming. Right there is the warehouse where waste is piled up. You can actually see the trash draining directly into the lake. There's a kind of treatment system right at the water's edge, but sewage is being discharged straight into it. You can tell by the dark color blending into the lake. The smell is horrible, unbearable. This is in Bangladesh. What was supposed to be a canal, like those in Venice, has turned into a buildup of garbage and pollution. People live and work here, with shops operating as usual, even with the stench and waste scattered everywhere. What's most striking is that daily life goes on. People walking by, children near the contaminated water, businesses open. Pollution has become part of the landscape. While the lake receives uncontrolled sewage, the city keeps moving, a powerful contrast between survival and neglect. It's such an absurd situation that it's hard to understand how people manage to survive in the middle of this, in this ditch swallowed by trash. It's insane. Some companies try to clean it up, but when a problem like this becomes part of the culture, change becomes extremely difficult. Around $1 billion was allocated to the government to clean up these canals. But from what we can see here, that money clearly never reached this area. Nor did it solve the problem that is devastating Bangladesh. What was supposed to be a protected area, a river cutting through a residential neighborhood, has turned into one of the largest dumping grounds in Dhaka. It's heartbreaking because this place should be full of life. Instead, the river is biologically dead. There's nothing but waste and toxic chemicals. There's still a small flow of water, but what dominates the scene is an enormous layer of garbage, something both shocking and infuriating. The worst part is that this has become routine. People live every day with the stench, the pollution, and the health risks, while nothing changes. It raises a question: where did the promised investment go? Meanwhile, the trash keeps piling up, destroying the environment and putting lives at risk, as if it were an invisible problem to those who are supposed to take action. This is the true reality of Dhaka. This is the harsh reality of Bangladesh. People work, eat, sleep, and live, surrounded by garbage scattered everywhere. It's filth that seems endless. Everything happens right there, in the middle of the dirt and decay. It's almost unbelievable. The meat sold on the streets becomes a serious health risk. Washed with contaminated water, exposed to polluted air, unrefrigerated, and covered in flies. Salmonella, parasites, heavy metals, all waiting for whoever consumes it. People continue working right beside the railway tracks. Open-air fish markets, in the middle of the crowd, surrounded by mud, pollution, and toxic air. Meat and fish absorbing contamination, creating an invisible source of disease that mainly affects the poorest. And the most shocking part, this has become routine. Children play nearby, vendors loudly advertise their products as usual, while the strong smell and heavy air dominate the surroundings. Dark water flows past, mixed with garbage and food waste. Even so, life does not stop. Every day, people keep fighting to survive in this harsh environment, living with risks that threaten the health of everyone around them. The hard truth is that this place operates like a social and sanitary game of Russian roulette. Scenes of children working are common here. They're friendly. We even smile back. But the reality is harsh. These children should be in school, not working. Seeing this up close is both heartbreaking and powerful. That's what we show. Reality as it truly is. Over there, a boy cleaning fish when he should be studying. This is the routine. Bangladesh is the second largest textile hub in the world, behind only China. There are more than 4,500 factories producing clothing for major international brands, many of them likely hanging in your closet right now. When you witness it firsthand, you realize it's not an isolated situation, but a daily cycle. The improvised shops along the railway tracks, the train passing by, and people returning to work as if nothing happened, all reveal one thing: survival comes first. While the world consumes without thinking about where products come from, entire families here depend on this exhausting labor just to secure the bare minimum. It's a reality shaped by necessity, resilience, and inequality. The human and environmental impact of this production is enormous. Many industries ignore environmental regulations, bribe inspectors, and dump chemical waste directly into rivers, turning them into true corridors of poison. While the world buys cheap clothing made in Bangladesh, the local population pays the price with their own health, with contaminated water and the polluted air they breathe every single day. And it doesn't stop there. Beyond the visible pollution, there is a silent threat: noise pollution. The constant roar of factories damages hearing, increases stress levels, and completely changes the atmosphere of the city. With uncontrolled growth and weak oversight, outdated machines continue operating without proper maintenance, releasing toxic smoke day and night. Entire communities live surrounded by industrial warehouses, trapped in a suffocating environment. Over time, many people grow accustomed to the strong smell and the murky water. But this adaptation does not mean the damage has disappeared. It only shows how deeply this reality has been normalized. Here in Dhaka, it's common to see professionals cleaning people's ears. But what many assume is just a buildup of earwax may actually already be hearing loss. The noise is so intense that some children grow up with permanent deafness. It's 24 hours of non-stop sound, blaring horns, shouting, chaotic traffic, and confusion everywhere. People constantly bump into each other, throwing water into the middle of the mess. It's unbelievable. Just look at the traffic. Boats crossing from every direction. And along with that, huge amounts of trash being dumped directly into the water, with no control whatsoever. After just a few hours here, the exhaustion is overwhelming. Your head starts to ache, your concentration disappears, and finding even a single second of silence feels impossible. It's noise pollution and visual chaos at the same time. Living here requires enormous physical and mental resilience. That's why it is considered one of the most contaminated rivers on the planet. The water is dark, thick, and filthy. The river is biologically dead. This means the pollution is so extreme and the oxygen levels so low that no aquatic life can survive there. In the past, fishermen made their living from this river, and people bathed in it peacefully. Today, not a single fish remains. This is the harsh reality of the Buriganga River, one of the most polluted rivers in the world. What's even more shocking is that families live along its banks and even inside boats in this environment. They cook, bathe, and relieve themselves using the same contaminated water. While some unload timber, others wash clothes, all on the banks of a completely degraded river. And most astonishing of all, for many, this has become routine. Children grow up seeing this dark water as something normal. The pollution here hasn't just destroyed nature, it has also damaged the dignity and the future of those who depend on this place. It's striking to look at all of this and realize that maybe these people have no alternative. This is one of the most important rivers in the nation, and yet it is biologically dead, completely compromised. What can be said in a situation like this? The solution should be simple: more care and awareness, because pollution mainly affects the people who live here. In Bangladesh, contamination seems to have been normalized, as if it were just part of everyday life. Whether due to a lack of alternatives, information, or environmental education, this is the reality. Every year, around 270,000 people die in the country because of pollution. And half of them are children. That's too heavy to ignore. Trash is thrown into rivers and onto the streets without concern. Filth has become something ordinary. And as long as this continues to be seen as normal, nothing will change. When a river dies, it's not just the water that disappears. Along with it go health, jobs, dignity, and the future of the next generations. Pollution doesn't choose an address. It comes back in the form of disease and suffering. Let this video serve as a moment of reflection. Change begins with small, everyday actions. If we want a cleaner, more conscious planet, we need to act now. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts and send this to that friend who still insists on throwing trash on the ground.